Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TbT channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is quite important, brought about because of a new bipod I bought. So today we're going to look at different ways of resting a rifle, predominantly air rifles. Why is it important to rest an air rifle? Well, you might be zeroing the rifle. Okay, if you're zeroing the rifle, you don't want to be shaking around like a dog parking his breakfast. You need to be able to keep the gun steady. Likewise, you might be out hunting and you want a way of keeping the gun steady, or just target shooting. There's lots of different reasons, but shooting freehand is difficult. And if you're after ultimate accuracy, sometimes too difficult. So I've got a few different systems, not really systems, you know what I mean, just a few different things here to show you. First of which is this shooting rest. Now this is a MTM Predator shooting rest, quite an old one, but it works. What you do is you get your rifle, in this case an HW30 because it's nice and light, and you rest it on there. And you've got an adjusty bit at the front here, so you can turn that and it lifts the front up, and you can drop the back down by moving the comb to different, or the stock rather, to different places on there, and you can get up and down adjustment and it keeps it nice and smooth, nice and still, and you can take your shot. The only problem is you can't really use these for spring rifles. Spring powered air rifles are a law unto themselves. For everything else, a rest like this one, or one of the many variants thereof, this is one of the cheap ones. I only paid a £5 for this from a boot fair, but and it's done perfectly well for me. But a spring rifle, all of the recoil happens while the pellet is still in the barrel. It hasn't left. Everything else, the recoil happens after everything's long gone. So although theoretically you could shoot a spring rifle off a bipod or off of a solid rest like this, if you don't have it in exactly the same place every time and hold it exactly the same way every time, then what's actually going to happen is it's going to spray them all over the shop, and that is invariably what does happen. And also, if you were to zero your gun using this, you would go, oh, that's lovely, that's perfect. If you managed it, if you actually managed to replicate it every single time, you would take it off the rest, go to shoot, and it would miss because you're holding it completely different to how this rest does. So this rest is really only suitable for PCPs or powder burners. But they are an important thing. So if you've got a PCP, get one of those. Now, if you do have springers and you want something solid to shoot off of, what you need is bags. There's 1,000,001 different types out there. This one is part of a set of two. You put that at the front and you get a little V-shaped wedge one for the back. But I actually prefer just using this one on its own like that, with the gun resting across it. But the problem there is this is a spring rifle, so again you're going to be flipping all over the place. So if you want to zero your spring rifle using one of these, what you do, it's quite complicated but not overly so, you place your hand between the bag and the gun, okay, because then you can replicate a rest. Now what I'm doing there, I'm fiddling around, fingering underneath my rifle, aren't I? What I'm doing is I'm finding a reference point. So with this gun, I would use that as my reference point, put my pointed finger there, and then hold it just resting on there with a light hold on the back for zeroing. And that means I put my hand in the same place on the stock every time, which means you get repetition. Again, we go back to the recoil is happening while everything is moving. Sorry, while the pellet is still in the barrel. So doing it that way makes it a lot simpler. So find a reference point. If it's a gun with stock screws on the side, you'd use one of your fingers in that hole and then it's in the same place every time. These are inexpensive. I know that because I'm going to buy myself a new one, because I made a hole in this one. I haven't made a hole in it. It's worn out. It's yeah, I've had that again. I've had it many years. They come as a set of two for around 15 quid. off of online sites. They come just as the bags, and you can fill them up with things yourself. You can use sand if you want. It will weigh quite a lot if you do. Inside of here, you'll see, or maybe you can see that, I've got rice. Now, if you do use rice, don't cook it first. That's a rookie error. Just dry rice, and that moves around. It helps to support the gun, and it shapes itself around the gun. Some people use kitty litter. I've not tried that myself. Rice is cheap, and you can buy it in any supermarket. I suppose cat litter is too, but I don't know, something about cat litter. Yeah, I just don't want it. So these are brilliant, and they're cheap. So you'd have to go a long way to find something better for not much money. But that's not a lot of use if you're out in the field. Make sure that doesn't fall off of there. If you are out in the field, what you would usually find on a gun is a bipod. And this one is a Harris bipod. Is this Harris? Yes, it is. This is a genuine Harris bipod. Now, you can get these with adjustable tilt. Some of them spin as well. You can get different leg lengths, and the legs are spring loaded, so you can adjust them up and down to wherever you want. And that is funky, and that is groovy. I think a genuine Harris one like this is over £100 now, which is quite a lot of money for a bipod. But for about 15, you can get a knockoff. And I'll be honest, for most of us, the knockoff will be just as good. It'll do the job. This one's a Firefield. It's very similar in size to that one. Very similar in size. The way it fits on, very similar. The quality is obviously going to be better on a £100 one than on a 15 quid one. Okay, but the options are there. So that is a bipod. You can use them off the bench as well. What you tend to do is either put your arm underneath the back of the stock, or your hand, or a small bag. I've got a small squeezy bag, which I should have brought out with me, but I forgot to. A small squeezy bag that's just got plastic beads inside of it, and it's quite loose in there, so that you can have your small bag there, and then when you squeeze it with your hand, it raises the butt of the gun up, so you can get really good fine adjustment for bench shooting, and that's really good. And bench shooting brings me on to my next one, and this is where the problems kind of started, if I'm honest. Put me two down there. Was this gun here. Now this is my Reximex Meta, and it's a lovely rifle. It really is, and it's got a very nice adjustable hook thing there, and it's got this adjustable thing here. Now what this is for is effectively put a bipod on the front, you've got that one on the back, you can turn that bit. It's very fine adjustable, and you can get very good precision shooting with this. But if you're using one of these bipods, which is all I had when I got this gun, if I prop it up on there so you can see, I shall illustrate my problem. That's kind of the height that it will go to. That's above its maximum height, so that's about the height, and that gives me no scope at all for shooting in my garden, because my garden slopes off downwards at the back. So I was aiming too high, and I was having to put things under the back there, and you can see how high the gun is up off the thing, and on my shooting bench I'm kind of up like that. It was all kinds of dramas. So I needed a bipod solution. And what I saw whilst looking on the internet at this style of black ugly gun is these groovers here, these bipods. Now this bipod is very different to your Harris style bipod. These aren't spring loaded, and they can go at different angles. So I've got a little button on the side here, so I can bring it all the way down there, I can bring it back, I can put it at different spaces along the way, which means I get a much lower height here, so that I can, that's on that lowest setting, so that's practically horizontal anyway, So I'm now, when I'm using that, the gun's a lot closer to the deck and I'm shooting downwards, which is perfect for in my back garden. And I was looking at these and I saw this one. This is a UTG Recon. And apart from the adjustments there, I'll just show you the other adjustments I've got on this. I do like this one. I've got, there we go. I've got adjustable length there. So you can go for adjustable height on that part. And you also have a lock off here, which allows that to spin and twist and go side to side and all kinds of things. So whatever bench you're shooting off of, you can have that on there. You can move it around until you get to exactly the right place, and you pull that switch across, lever across, and it locks it off. It is extremely good, and I've been using this with my PCPs since, was it June, I think I got this gun, and I've loved it. But it was 130 euros, if memory serves me right. Again, that's a lot. It is a lot for a bipod. It does lots of fancy things and it goes direct onto a Picatinny rail, but it's 130 euros. So I'm just going to pop him there. A couple of weeks ago, I got another Reximex. I got this one here. In fact, I'm going to pop that one even more away for the moment. We'll bring him back. I got this one here, which once we got shooting it, if you saw these videos, this is the 25 cal Force 1, bloody accurate. It really is bloody accurate. I've only shot it to 73 meters at the moment, but all the way out there, it is stunning. And I was using that bipod on it, and that's absolutely lovely. But then I wanted to use this gun, so I had to swap the bipod. So I'll just get myself another bipod. 130 euros is a lot of money, isn't it? Just to give you an idea, this, if I was to put it on this one, it is far too high up and it is quite unstable. Okay, that's the thing with these. These work well if they're off towards the front there, and if they haven't got the adapter part to work on a weaver rail, and if they're direct onto the wood, they're okay, they're great, particularly on rim fires and things like that. But on this style with the rail underneath, they're just too high up. So I thought I want another one like that one, but it was 130 euros. So I went on to Amazon, because that's where I bought it from. The price has gone up to 173 euros. This gun was only 316 euros plus post. That's like over half the cost of the gun on a bipod. I couldn't do it, I'm too tight. So what I did was bought myself a cheap knockoff of one of them, sort of. This one that is here. Didn't put my glasses on, did I? The manufacturer is called Yotuwu Athena Crafts Company Limited. And when you first get it out and look at it, you think it's very similar to that. It is, you know, it's not far off in style at all. You've got the thing where you can adjust it and have them at different, so you can have it up like that, or you can have it across up like that. You've got little, let me just do this. You've got little adjusters here, so you can adjust the height of your legs, which is good. And you've got a little screw, like a wing nut underneath there, and when you undo that, you've got movement there, so you can do that kind of thing. Then when you get it right, you can do it up here. It's a screw, it's like a butterfly screw rather than the lever with that one, but you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. And it wasn't 170 odd euros. This one was 32 euros. That's a big difference, isn't it? It's a huge difference, but it's not awfully different in actual use. If I put that one there, and then I put this one here, you may see, you won't see, because you can't see it. How am I going to do this one? How should I best demonstrate to you the difference in height? This is the crux of it, I think. If you look, the height of it here is inch and a half higher than this one here. So this 32 Euro bipod wouldn't have worked as well with this gun, because it still would have been slightly too high. I wouldn't have been able to get the shots from an elevated position using the rear tripod, using it as a tripod with the rear guide. But actually using it like that, it's pretty much bob on. You know, that's where you want it to be. So we've got different ways of supporting the gun. Supporting the gun is necessary, first of all, for zeroing your rifle. Secondly, if you're doing bench shooting, you want to be able to keep it in the right place. If you're hunting, the other thing with hunting is you get trigger sticks now. Have you seen those? They're the kind of tripod or bipod things, and click, 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 and you drop it and you put the gun on it and you take your shot. That's lovely. If you're walking around, I don't walk around with my rifles. All my rifle shooting's done off benches. Otherwise, I would have shown you those as well. But all I can show you is what I've got. And what I've got is this. So you've got fancy tactical bipods from 32 euros to, I don't know how much the most expensive ones were. These weren't particularly expensive when I looked at them. They were quite reasonable compared to some. And I suppose if you've got something really, really fancy dancy, you need that. And it really does help with this gun. But 32 euros for that. 32 euros for that. And these type, which if you've got a standard wooden stock and you put mounting it on the fore end, those ones from 15 quid to 100 on, depending on whether you want to go for the brand name or for something else. They all do the job. And then we've got, just going back all through them all again, you've got your bags, which you can fill with sand, kitty litter, or rice, or anything you want really. I mean, there's no rules. Nobody's going to check. You can put whatever you want in there. And lastly, and honestly, if I'm going to be honest here, if you're at a boot fair and you see one of these for a £5, buy it. Even if you don't shoot your gun off of it, they're brilliant as a gun stand for when you're mounting scopes and stuff like that. And that's it. It's just a little thing about what to rest your gun on for taking more accurate shots. And there are choices. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of trying to put a bipod on a Springer. You can't do that. You need, if you're going to use a bag, you need your hand between the Springer and the bag or any other hard surface. But on a PCP or a rimfire, these bags, bipods, tripods, shooting sticks, anything goes really, and it will get you more accuracy. That's it. Like, subscribe, hit notifications. Thank you so much for watching this one. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.